Classroom of the Elite has just completed its second season and I want to talk about it. In my previous Classroom of the Elite video, I talked a little bit about the second season, mostly about its animation quality, but I have been doing a little bit of reading here and there, so I guess I have a lot more I want to talk about on what happened this season. So let's dive in once again into this bizarre world of love, power, geniuses, and perfect men and talk about what happened in the second season of the Classroom of the Elite. This season of the Classroom of the Elite was pretty great. I honestly enjoyed my time watching it. Unlike the first season, I was watching it week by week with you guys, so you can imagine my frustration about how short I felt the episodes were, because just when they were starting to get good, we had to wait for the next episode. And yeah, I was watching Ayanokoji in his original Japanese voice for the first time. Bro, you can't imagine my excitement. You should have seen me pacing around the room while waiting for the 12th episode to drop. And I know, they might have probably done something different in the light novels, which I'll get to that in a sec. But I honestly don't mind having the anime-only experience before reading the light novels. So, speaking of the light novels, this season covers from volume 4 of the light novels to probably volume 7. I'm not so sure about that one, so correct me if I'm wrong. And ever since I started reading the Classroom of the Elite light novels, I can proudly say that I'm finally on volume 3. Yeah, I kind of don't have a lot of free time to read, and these books are about 400 pages long, so it will take me some time to completely read everything. And I know what you're probably saying now. You should have skipped the first 3 volumes and started from volume 4. That's where it gets really interesting. And I just wanted to say, I did consider that, but I hate skipping stuff. I like to have the full experience, even though those chapters might be boring compared to what comes after. So I'm still going to read those volumes, and I honestly don't find them boring at all. I'm not in it for the cheap thrills. I want to have a complete experience overall, and reading those chapters, even though I have seen the anime counterparts, is still sort of fun. It's nice reading about the things Ayanokoji did with others, which was cut out of the anime. It feels like a behind the scenes or deleted scenes sort of experience for me, so no worries, I will catch up eventually. But that leads us to the season in question. Season 2 covers from volume 4, which I definitely haven't read, so I might not be able to point out all the differences and the stuff they cut out from the volumes they adapted, which is fine. But let me recommend this video by Satisfy about the cut material of the first game in the second season. So click the card right here to check it out. Okay, so there was something on my mind I wanted to talk about. Kei Karurizawa, the best girl that you people were talking to me about. Without fairness, I think we can agree that Kei at the beginning of both the anime and the light novels wasn't as appealing to us now like she was then. She did catch my eye, being the noticeably blonde girl in the class with a lot of presence. Heck, she was supposedly going out with Hirata, who was like the class leader, so you will definitely notice her. I did get a vibe she was kind of stuck up at the beginning of this season, and that didn't do her any favors in my book. In the light novels, Ayanokoji describes her as a Jairu or something. Forgive my pronunciation, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at is that I didn't know how honestly like someone like Kei. Heck, you could even see from my first Classroom of the Elite video that I was kind of shipping Koji with Horikita. I honestly thought it would be that sort of relationship due to her tsundere character. I even thought another ship might be Class B's Ichinose, but I did have my doubts since she was being secretive and all. And after everything that happened with Kushida, I don't really ship them anymore. She doesn't feel, what's the word I'm looking for, genuine to me. So after watching this season, I was like, fuck that noise, give me more Kei and Kiyotaka ships. Because I don't know, they really are cute together. I kinda like their relationship more. I feel like Ayanokoji can talk freely with her, and she genuinely seems to care for him. I can't believe I caught myself smiling when they were having all those late night calls. And you should have seen my face when I figured out the plan he had with Kei to ruin Kushida's clothes. I was like, damn, a grown-ass nigga like me smiling at fictional characters. I seriously need to go out and touch grass. But they do really make a good team. Way better than whatever he had with Horikita. Now that I think about it, Ayanokoji does have a lot of options now, huh? There's actually one thing I noticed when rewatching the first season and the second season of The Classroom of the Elite. And with my limited knowledge about the light novels, I have come to this conclusion. The main heroine of the first season was Horikita. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. Some people didn't like that at all because they felt that all the scenes that Kiyotaka had with Ichinose and Kei were given to Horikita. And frankly, I kinda get where they were coming from, but I think it's a sort of formula the anime is following. Because let's take a look at the light novels for a sec. It starts off with Ayanokoji and Horikita on the covers, and majority of the story kinda revolves around them, even having a whole chapter dedicated to Horikita's point of view. And in addition, some of the first season promotional images only use Ayanokoji and Horikita, so naturally, if they wanted to make them the main characters of the first season, it would make a whole lot of sense. And even though Horikita was kind of the main heroine, we could also see Ayanokoji have moments with other girls like Sakura and Ichinose. And as I recall, volume 2 of the light novels had Sakura and Kushida on the covers, so we definitely knew they had a bunch of stories following them in some sort of way. So anime only watchers who did not like Horikita could also have the options to ship Kiyotaka with his other love interest. Not to forget, Horikita is sort of like the first girl Ayanokoji got introduced to, so naturally, he has tons of scenes with her. And I feel that the anime wanted to emphasize on that particular relationship because after the first season, we don't get a whole lot of time with Koji and Horikita. So even though Horikita might be making waves in other seasons, she still might not really be the central character moving forward. And I honestly prefer this change because even though it might take away from some of the other characters, it does well to at least put Horikita in a much more competent and favorable light for the anime only watchers. And in the second season, we got Kei as the main heroine, with Horikita and Ichinose taking a back seat. We also got characters like Maya Sato adding to the mix of Ayanokoji's growing harem. He even became friends with the likes of Haruka, who was on team Ayanokoji. She even gave him the nickname Kyopon, which I found to be kind of funny. And it seems he will become friends with classist Hiyori, whom he met at the library. I think. I'm not so sure about that. So, looking at the fourth volume, which the second season begins its adaptation from, we can clearly see that it's Hirata and Karuizawa on the cover. And it also begins with a soliloquy from Kei, just like the other chapters with Sakura and the others. And as you would have guessed it, this season we got to know a lot more about Hirata and Karuizawa. So, I believe the Horikita ships definitely died this season. But even though I don't ship them anymore, since she was kinda like his first friend, I still feel they need to spend some time together. Maybe making Kei jealous or something. It will create some nice drama. I definitely want to see that, because it's funny how people keep asking Ayanokoji about his relationship with Horikita since they are always seen together, especially Kushida in the anime. And speaking of Kushida,
man,
fuck Kushida.
that nigga can eat a dick!
So far, from what I've read from the light novels, I noticed Kiyotaka seems to compliment Kushida a lot, especially her appearance, even though he knows about her being a two-faced bitch. Maybe he was just observing her, but I did remember reading a scene where he thought he might be crushing on her. Like his heart started to beat when he saw how cute she looked. I probably should have taken a screenshot of that part for reference, so don't take my word for it. I'm not so sure about that. Anyways, I haven't really talked about anything that happened this season since I got caught up in all the relationship stuff, so let's get into it. Once again, this is a friendly reminder that I'm only going to talk about what happened in the anime because I haven't made it that far in the light novels, so if I miss anything, I'll be sure to cover those too when I'm done reading. So one thing I noticed when I watched the trailer of the second season was that I think they might have either cut out a ton of the stuff they animated or they have already begun animating the third season. Because where the hell are these scenes? I was so excited to see Hashimoto for some reason. I'm calling it now. I'm kinda intrigued with his character, so I did a little bit of research on him. He was making moves in the first season that I didn't notice until they actually showed his face. Nevertheless, I didn't find anything too interesting about him. I like his design, so I took a shot at drawing him. How did I do? And this scene too, the so-called rooftop scene everyone was hyped about. Did we get it or was it cut? Let me know. You know how we do it here, just vague answers. A simple no, it got cut will suffice for me. Or maybe it's gonna happen in the third season. But anyways, let's start at the beginning. This season continues from the previous season, where they went on a trip to a deserted island to have a special test. On their way back, I presume, they had another test on the boat. And referring to Satisfy's video again, I did notice the rules of the game was kinda changed, but it's generally the same game, so I won't break it down here. But this is Ayanokoji's first meaningful meeting with Kei, at least in the anime. He seems to want to avoid her for some reason, and the same goes for her. But after manipulating a set of events, he finally got to see her at her lowest. Probably her true self, kinda. I don't think we show our true selves when we are at our lowest. Sometimes circumstances could dictate our actions, but how we respond to those circumstances shows our real character. Kei Karuizawa is great. She currently holds the title of best girl in our hearts, and I agree. She is the best girl. It's fun seeing Ayanokoji scheme with her, which is way better than Horikita because she's actually willing to help Kiyotaka. She's domineering when she needs to and thoughtful when it counts. She can also be quite clingy, which can be a turn on or a turn off for you depending on what kind of person you are. But it was stated multiple times that she clings to men of value to leech upon their status or something, so it's probably in her nature to do so. Nevertheless, she is a dime to be protected. But this kinda reminds me a little bit of someone of a similar caliber, Ichinose.
What?
I know Ichinose and Kei are very different. It seems like Ichinose is rather a better version of Kushida with a more commanding presence. But just comparing her to Kushida just makes her appear sus to me. I'm just saying. Kei and Ichinose use different methods to rise to power, and they do have that respect that causes other girls to follow suit. I know Ichinose has a thing for Ayanokoji, and with the way he handled a certain someone's proposal this season, I'm sure it might not go so well for her when she finally decides to confront her feelings, if she ever decides to even do that in the first place. But let's wait and see. After they returned from the ship, they had a sports festival. This part was really hype, and you know why. And before you say it, I know, you can even tell they cut out or glossed over a chunk of the event, but then again, it didn't actually seem to lessen my enjoyment of the festival. It was more of a, oh, I wish they had showed us this person participate, or I wanted to see a particular class dominate another class, etc. But at least we got Ayanokoji versus Manabu Horikita. And that was not bad. The reason for my somewhat disappointment stems from how bad this season was animated particularly. I actually saw the animation mistakes on Twitter before I even watched the episode, and due to my dismay, it was Classroom of the Elite we were talking about. I felt like this part was going to be really hype, you know? One of the best hype moments. Although we did get another part at the end that was hype, the animation at this part could and should have been better. That's my opinion on the topic. But nonetheless, I still felt hyped when I saw Kiyotaka and Manabu race past the other slow students like it was nothing. The animation wasn't anything amazing, but it still sufficed to at least make me watch that scene for more than 10 times in one sitting, so I'll take it. And Lurch, if you're watching, which I'm 100% sure you aren't, please reanimate certain scenes for the Blu-ray version, because this season was good actually. The only thing I felt lacking was in its animation, but the animation was not all bad. You will see a slight bump in quality in the final few episodes. Yes, you know what I'm getting at. Ayanokoji versus Ryuen. It felt as if the studio held out its entire budget just to animate this episode because, wow, the character animated movements alone were so good. It actually looked like a real fight rather than a typical over-the-top anime fight, and I basked in every second of it. If that's the reason why we had shitty animation at the beginning, then I guess we can let it slide. All the budget probably went into the race and the fight episodes. This season was enjoyable for me personally. We got to see other characters a bit more, which was fun, while new characters were also being introduced to us. Ayanokoji has a new friend group outside Horikita and the Idiot Trio, and a new love interest. We got some drama and most of all, the mind games. It was short and sweet. In the end, all the events that happened this season set an interesting premise for what is to come the next season. So, to my fellow friends who have read the light novels, who feel that they still cut out some integral moments of character development, I would like to say, I feel it's all good. It's actually my mission to read the light novels to completion before season 3 airs. I should be able to do that, and when I'm done, I will be able to point out everything missing or taken out of the anime adaptation. But until then, let's enjoy the anime together, or as much as you possibly can. With that said, don't forget to like the video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the second season. Please subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and always remember to keep moving forward.
Ayanokoji!
来るなら叫ぶなよ。